New week, new moon, new season, new opportunities for you to co-create with this week's astrology. Hi all, my name is Comet and welcome to Just Another Magic Monday, your astrological breakdown of the week ahead, letting you know what is happening cosmically, but furthermore, how you can anchor in this energy tangibly and practically within your daily life. I am here every single Monday morning to guide you into the week ahead with some matcha and some magic. And this week is jam-packed, loves. We've got the sun ingressing into Libra, kicking off Libra season. Happy birthday to all of the scales, as well as fall in the northern hemisphere and spring in the southern hemisphere. So it is equinox, and how perfect that we move into this time of year that is perfectly balanced in terms of how many hours of nighttime and how many hours of daytime all around the globe as we move into Libra season. The scales, all about balance. And then the little welcome party for the sun newly in Libra is the Libra New Moon, which yes, is optimistic, is dreamy. Perhaps too much though. And the ruler of that lunation, Venus, the planet of love and beauty, is going through her own turbulence this week ahead as she faces off with Neptune and trines Pluto, creating certain blind spots that you're going to want to be mindful of, as well as opportunities to co-create with the cosmos, because that's what we break down here on Magic Monday. Before we dive in, I just want to highlight, as we move into all this new energy, new moon, new season, new opportunities, I do want to share that I do have a membership option called Magic Monthly. Some of the tiers, namely planets and galaxy, comes with some fun little assets that are created for you to organize and get aligned with the cosmos. We've got little printable calendars. We've got a digital astrology planner. You can check that out below on the join button. And without further ado, let's take it into vibe check of the week. So this week's vibe check is when you are trying your hardest not to fall for someone. Like you have made yourself a little promise, like I'm going to stay single. I'm not gonna go out with my coworkers after work because I know they're gonna be there and we have this weird vibe, so I'm just gonna say no. Or the vibe like when you go out on a date and you're like, there's certain elements of their lifestyle that I'm not in total alignment with, so I need to, protect my heart, be cautious, use discernment, go slow within this connection. And there's this vibe where we kind of want to protect ourselves a bit this week, but also there is good things if we put ourselves out there and are a little bit optimistic, cautiously optimistic though. And to liken this to the vibe check before I bring this back to the astrological pieces I'm pulling from, is I want you to think of like being like, nope, I'm not going to fall for you. I'm going to take this slow. I need to stay single. We're just friends, whatever. But then going out with your coworkers anyway after work, or deciding that you'll go on a date for the third night in a row with this person, or saying yes to someone that you're like, oh, logically I really should stay single for a year, but what harm could one more date have? And then the vibe when you are just fully in it. Like there was part of you that trying to be discerning, trying to be rational, trying to stay grounded, trying to take this slow, trying to mind the red flags. But then once you're in it, you are just in it. There is this vibe this week around rose-colored glasses, around once you are in it, you're like, oh, those values that we weren't aligned on, let's just forget about that. Oh, we work together, whatever. I know I was trying to be discerning, but that just kind of like went out the window, right? And it's not to say that this isn't a start to something beautiful. We have some lovely Venus aspects this week. We have this interesting Libra New Moon, which definitely is calling for this energy of balance and of harmony within our connections. So it's not to say you should just lock yourself in a box, as probably the Virgo Venus wants you to do, and just protect your heart and stay safe. It's not to say that there can be certain lessons that you can learn from connections or whatever new start is transpiring within your world. However, this is not the time to throw logic and care to the wind and be like, whatever, let's move in on the third date. Let's just do the whole thing. Like, remember that vibe around slow and steady, using discernment, thinking about things rationally, asking other opinions. Hey, what do you think of this person that I'm dating? Things of the nature, because it feels like a vibe. While there is a genuine desire to be like, okay, let's take this slow. Let me not put myself out there that much. By the time the sun ingresses into Libra and the Libra new moon, there's very much this energy around, let's just do the gosh darn thing. So the reason I say this, so we have some lovely Venus aspects. At the beginning of the week, we have Venus trine Uranus, which was that energy I was highlighting around allowing newness to come into our world. Knowing logically and rationally, because remember, Venus is in Virgo, and Virgo spots it, right? Virgo's discerning. Virgo sees, hey, our values aren't aligned in this way. Hey, this actually could be a disaster because we work just a cubicle away. Hey, this might not work because A, B, and C about our lifestyle is different, right? But with the trine to Uranus, Uranus is kind of like, come on, have a little fun. Go out, just see what happens. And it's not that it's a bad thing, because there is some supportive energy around connections and newness and novelty this week that I want you to seize, even if it's not necessarily just focused around relationships. I'll give more context to how else this might transpire. But, you know, we are not very discerning this week. We sort of have our head in the clouds. And people often don't talk about that when it comes to Libra energy, right? Whenever someone talks about, you know, the delusional sign, it's always Pisces. And that's valid. I'm a Pisces. I resonate with that. But Libra is too. And it's not to say that these signs are fully delusional. It's just that they're both very romantic and they both really want to see the best in people, right? And particularly when we get to the Libra new moon this weekend, this Libra new moon is gathered with Mercury retrograde and opposing Jupiter. So again, we're not seeing things 100% clearly. We're a little more optimistic for our own good than we should be. And then if we follow the ruler of this Libra lunation, we see it's Venus opposing Neptune. We are not seeing clearly. We want to stay in the daydream. We're like, I know I had those red flags earlier, but let's just forget about that because I really like this person and I want to move in. And I'm hearing my friends say that there's red flags in his story, how he's the heir to the Kleenex tissue company and how he's so loyal even when my friend spotted that he was commenting on other gals' Instagrams earlier this week. I don't see any of that because I just want to fall deeply within this connection. So I'm asking this week for a middle ground. I'm asking for cautious optimism, being open to connections, being open to collaborations. As I highlighted, when we talk about Venus, it's not strictly love. It's also money. It's also values. It's also pleasure. So while there is new opportunities, new money-making opportunities, new areas of business collaborations, this energy of new, I want you to exert this vibe of cautious optimism in every aspect of your life. You can go into situations expecting the best, but also low-key being prepared for the worst, just in case. Going slower and steadier, even if you're like, wow, this seems like a perfect fit. Let's start this thing immediately. Let's move in. Let's make this huge decision. Go a little slower than you would. Ask other people for opinions. See what other people think about this. As I've been highlighting with every time that Mercury has opposed Jupiter, which is sort of part of the lunation, at least that energy is sort of baked into the lunation. What I've been highlighting is I'm like, if someone is rushing you to make a decision, they might be trying to ensure that you miss certain details that you might not be tuning into, like, oh, just sign. Yeah, that's just like a silly little clause that they make us put in there. Or like, oh, yeah, let's move in together. I know I wasn't able to buy that Subway sandwich the other day, but it's only because my debit card was stolen. Like, be mindful around when people try to rush you to make a decision, because again, Mercury retrograde is asking us to sort of hold our horses, right? Hold our horses. Let's just take a beat. Let's just take a beat. Let's go slower than we imagine. The Virgo energy, because Mercury retrograde also re-enters Virgo this week. It's sort of like holding back the Libra. Libra wants to live in a fantasy. There's all this Neptune energy where it's like, let's just be in the dream. But the Virgo energy is like, hold on. Do I have to pay rent in the dream? What are the living conditions in the dream? I have questions about this dream. So now that we have the vibe of this lunation, I'm going to take it day by day. Do keep in mind that all times that I mention are PDT, so make sure to adjust to your time zone before you put it into your planner. And there's timestamps below if you want to jump to a particular day. So without further ado, let's take it into Monday, September 19th. So good morning, happy Monday, September 19th. So the moon is in Cancer all day, and this makes it a very moony day. You may know that Monday is governed by the moon, and the moon rules Cancer. So we've got a lot of moon energy, which does take us right into the feels and to this desire for safety. And oftentimes when I say we might be feeling more emotional, a lot of times we can think, oh, I'm gonna be sad and have a meltdown. And it's not to say necessarily, like when we talk about moody signs, it's like, yes, they feel their sads very intensely, but they also feel their happies just as intensely, right? On that polarity. So with that being said, on Monday, there is a slight sort of trigger spot in the morning because the Cancer moon does square Chiron in Aries around really craving this energy of safety, really having this certain wound activated within ourselves and just being like, oh, I just want to go into my little hole with my little blankie and not deal with any of this, because fundamentally, what Cancer is looking for is this element of security, of safety. But what I'm going to say, looking at today's astrology, is I'm going to encourage you to get out of your comfort zone at least a little bit. And that's going to be challenging because Cancer moon does want to feel at ease. It wants to feel comfortable to an emotional level. And same with the sun still in Virgo at this moment. Virgo tends to be very risk averse. They think through every potential circumstance that could happen to try to prepare themselves to ensure none of them will, right? So both of these signs are kind of like, let's just stay within our routines. Let's just do our little tasks, make ourselves feel at ease. And that's all beautiful. Finding simple pleasures within the walk that you always take and the food that you always make is another unexpected delight of Monday. There's certainly that energy as the Cancer moon sextiles Venus in Virgo, sextiles Uranus in Taurus. There definitely is this delight in the little things that make us feel at ease. The reason I'm like, get out of your comfort zone a little bit, because so far we have like Cancer moon who's like, let's stay at home with the blanket, and the Virgo energy was like, let's make sure we have all our to-dos. We have to say no to that open mic because we need to make sure we're staying on all our tasks. The reason I'm like, put yourself out there a little bit is because we have Venus in Virgo trining Uranus in Taurus. Now, it technically for like East Coast individuals or anyone who is more Eastern than I am in the West Coast, this technically exacts early Tuesday, but we'll feel it build on Monday. And Uranus is the energy of newness. And as I highlighted, Uranus is also sextile in Cancer moon. So it's also being open to novelty to flow into your world. Observing when you are locking yourself away out of a defensive mechanism. As I highlighted, the Cancer moon squares Chiron in Aries. So maybe it's like, no, I don't want to go to the open mic because what if this person is there that I have beef with? And no, it's just better to stay at home with my blankies. But it's like Venus trine Uranus is like, just go. Just be open to new experiences to come into your world. You're not going to meet the love of your life or find this new amazing collaboration just staying at home with the blankie. Now, do keep in mind, like I said, a lot of times we could be very deep in the feels with Cancer moon. So if you are someone where you're just feeling everything intensely, more sensitive, more emotional, give yourself that space to check in. But if you're like, do I really want to stay at home, or do I just want to stay at home because I'm low-key scared what could happen if I go to this open mic or go out, you know, with my coworkers after work? Like, this is the part of the vibe check where it's like trying to be cautious, right? You're like, I feel this certain vibe, but I want to be cautious. I want to protect myself in my safe little world with my safe little task, with my safe little blankie and my safe little world. I want to have control. I don't want to open myself up for newness because I don't know what threats await when I do, right? It's that energy around wanting to protect ourselves, maybe for self-preservation or just for that element of control. But either way, there is a vibe on Monday where it's like, I should be cautious or I should just be safe. But with Venus trine Uranus, it's like, be open. You could be cautious, but still be open. You could be cautious, but still try something new. You could be cautious, but still be open to going to this event, or open to starting this conversation on social media, or open to whatever newness, particularly around Venusian affairs that you want to invite into your world, which is romance. If you're in a connection, you know, going on a new sort of date night outside of the normal burger spot you guys always go to, trying something new. You might not know the exact spot to sit that you guys always do and the exact drink you always order, but being open to that energy of newness to flow into your world, as well as money, right? Like for money collaborations, pitching yourself to something new or negotiating some sort of new rate or something of that nature. Or maybe style, trying a new haircut, dyeing your hair. There is a vibe where you might be a little worried about it, But that doesn't mean you shouldn't try it out. Whether it's the new haircut, the new date spot, whatever else, allow the energy of novelty and newness to flow into your world. Be open. Tuesday, September 20th. Be mindful to what you are giving energy, whether it is emotional energy or anything of that nature. It definitely feels like the vibe because the Cancer moon is very nostalgic, and when it trines Neptune and Pisces, we're a little bit more sensitive, we're a little bit more emotional, we're viewing everything a little bit more cinematically, right? Like, this is a vibe where it can up level, like, oh, I saw, my ex's Instagram and now I'm kind of jealous, to like, oh, I saw he's moved on with his lover. Like, it just kind of enhances everything, which is sometimes fun, which is sometimes inspired. But since the Cancer moon then opposes Pluto in Capricorn, it can be really, really trudging our emotions down. Like, just seeing one little post that sends you on this whole spiral and just feeling really emotional about the matter. Now, after the Cancer moon sextiles the Virgo sun, it is void. I do want to let you know that the moon is void in Cancer from 8:57 a.m. So feels in the morning, maybe feels that distract you from the task and the work at hand, to when it enters Leo, which essentially breaks the void at 1:38 p.m. So that morning, it is debated astrologer to astrologer whether or not void moons in signs that the moon does well in are a good thing. I personally still am super cautious around them. When the moon is void, if you can finish that sentence, write it below. You'll know if you watch Magic Monday. I'm curious to see who will get that. But just basically be cautious, okay, when it comes to sending the most important email of your life or doing anything earth-shattering. We could feel a little bit more drained, a little bit more exhausted. Keep in mind, the Cancer moon did trine Neptune Pisces earlier, so a little bit more emotional, a little bit more daydreamy, less in the mood to really get to the nuts and bolts of really tangible, practical matters. The moon then enters Leo, which is heart-centered, which is passionate, which is radiant. That is the fiery moon that gives us all that we needed, because then the Leo moon sextiles Mercury in Libra, so we're able to really negotiate. This would be a great negotiating day because you're both able to carry what it is that you want, your essence, your creativity, the Leo moon, with wanting to negotiate, wanting to find balance. Do keep in mind, be cautious when signing contracts, all the things. Mercury's retrograde. You know this week after week. While Mercury's retrograde, I'm going to continue to remind that. But it is a great time to be like, hey, I noticed the rate says this. What would you say? Would it be more fair if perhaps the rate said this? Things of that nature, especially since the Leo moon then trines Jupiter in Aries, which technically, depending on time zone, could exact for you early Wednesday morning. I'm PDT, so it exacts late Tuesday. So it is more optimistic. It's a little bit more bold. It's a little bit more courageous. It's a little bit more feel good. It's like, let's just throw this number out there and see what they say, right? Remember, like Venus trine Uranus is now separating, but it's still strong. So it's like opening up newness to come into our world, believing in ourselves. That's the beautiful thing about this fiery energy, enough to advocate for ourselves, to put ourselves out there while also balancing the other person's needs. Mercury and Libra. So this is a great, honestly, it comes to my mind as negotiating day, as well as if you do any sort of creativity with other people or you need to pitch a creative idea, that's great on Tuesday as well. Wednesday is a bit quiet, but that's not a bad thing. That is not a bad thing, loves. When there's a lot happening in the cosmos, sometimes it can be a little overwhelming. And it's not to say there's not nothing happening. Like, it is important that the Virgo sun is at the anaretic degree. It's at the final degree, which does tend to imbue this feeling of urgency, or like, gotta do everything, gotta get everything done, and being cautious with that because the Virgo sun's answering to retrograde Mercury. So again, unexpected technological difficulties, unexpected, clauses in that contract that you were rushed to sign, unexpected, red flags that you don't want to pay attention to because you just want to fall into the connection. Like, definitely important to be slow and steady, even if someone else is trying to rush you, right? Because we also have the Leo moon sextiling Mars in Gemini, which is positive for putting yourself out there, advocating. Honestly, Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday, great for that, But on Wednesday, if someone's trying to pressure you, finish this task, like, slow and steady, attune to the details, draw your awareness towards the details, dial it in, maintain the standards of excellence that the Virgo sun would sign off on, right? And allow space within your schedule to accommodate the inevitable delays of Mercury retrograde. Where are my overschedulers? Overschedulers, unite, like people who really just imagine that they can get way more done. Like, I'm telling you, our challenge, particularly as we get closer to Mars retrograde and all of the things that are happening right now, I would definitely say on Wednesday, really be realistic with what it is that you can take on. And it's like, sometimes you're realistic with what you can take on, but then the Wi-Fi was down or the printer wasn't working. Like, accommodate also things like that to occur, and try not to panic. Try not to panic or make your schedule so you're just rushing from thing to thing to thing. Create some space for some downtime so you just calmly move from task to task. Even if that means letting someone down, saying, hey, I can't add that to my plate. We can just expect a feeling of urgency, certainly with the sun at the introductory, like everything needs to happen yesterday. When you feel it come to the surface, take a deep breath. Whoo, I feel this energy of everything speeding up, but I'm gonna cautiously slow down. Let me take it easy. That is definitely a vibe this week. On Thursday, the 22nd, the moon is void pretty much all day in the sign Leo. Leo kind of creates this fixed T-square, kind of instigating the ongoing beef between Uranus and Saturn. Early in the morning, is void at 4:07 a.m. PDT, stays void until Friday. Okay, so have some cautiousness. Again, the sun doesn't ingress into Libra until 6:04 p.m. So before that point, the sun is at the anaretic degree, as I was highlighting with Wednesday, which can make us feel this urgency around everything needs to get done yesterday, right? And when you feel that, like, the more people tell you to rush, that's like more of a sign that you need to slow down. Does that make sense? Like, really having that cautious energy, like I was describing the vibe check around, okay, I just need to be practical about the matter. Like I said, and how the vibe check kind of ended, is there is this energy around being open regardless, but cautiously open, okay? Cautiously open. And with the all-day void moon, it's opposite Saturn. So there is this feeling of blah. There's this feeling of meh, not in the mood for responsibilities, tired, over it, just major blah energy. I wouldn't schedule anything too important on Thursday. Handle really boring, really routine work, things of the nature. And then the sun ingresses into Libra that evening. So happy birthday to all of my Libra loves. We adored you for your measured responses, for your wit, for your charm. I'm telling you, Libra could charm anyone in this world. My dear friend is a Libra moon, and she's always the one, like, whenever we go anywhere, she will find 3 best friends. One time we were just walking to my apartment, and these people were like on their stoop, and she became best friends with people just chilling on their stoop. She makes friends everywhere she goes. How could you not love Libra placements? They are so charming. They're so focused on you. They remember different details about you. They're so funny. There's just so much goodness about Libra. So if you have Libra placements, I love you. We all love you. Happy birthday. Enjoy your season. I do want to highlight to a broader level. And again, I'm not saying anything is wrong with you. I'm not saying that you are flawed. But I do want to bring to the surface that the sun in astrology has to do with ego and identity. Libra has to do with relationships and balance, right? How it is that my needs balance with yours, finding that middle ground. So the sun is in its full in Libra because, again, it's identifying with others, which is why, in part, not to get so deep and philosophical on Magic Monday, but to some degree, the reason why Libra does keep the peace as they do and why they are so likable and charming is, to some degree, particularly Libra suns, sometimes can form their identity, again, that's sun, around how they are perceived by others. Being as likable and as palatable and as easygoing to others is how they can internally relate with. So what I want to say, again, if you're a Libra, I'm not saying you are flawed. It's just whenever you have a planet that's not in a comfortable position, it's just something that kind of takes a little bit more self-care, a little bit more nurturing around. Guys, I'm not a numerologist. I just love to call out these things when I notice them. But the Libra new moon is at 2 degrees. 2 in numerology has to do with balance, and the sun ingresses into Libra on the 22nd. So loving all the 2 energy. But then after the sun ingresses into Libra, kicking off Libra season of the scales, as well as fall equinox, time of the year when everything's balanced all around the globe, spring equinox for some. And so what can we expect from Libra season? Because it's not all bad when the sun's in its fall. We just relate a little bit more with our connections, which can be lovely, which is why I think this is such a lovely time of the year. We want to enjoy the season. We want to enjoy experiences. We want harmony and balance with those around us. Something wrong with it, but certainly just something to be cautious of, especially when we consider that the sun is unhappy in Libra, right? It's in its fall, and it's answering to Venus, who is in her fall of Virgo. So we have two unhappy planets. They're like, ugh, I don't like it here. It's not saying anything's wrong with those signs. It's just that these planets don't do well there. So they're kind of like uncomfortable. They're a little awkward. And then that evening, the sun meets up with Mercury, which is kind of like its welcome to Libra tour. And with that being said, it can be very clarifying. It kind of draws a focus on our connections and the balance or imbalance that we spotlight within them. And it can be an aligned time of defining the relationship or talking about connections, or even bringing to the surface around certain ways that your connection can be more balanced or more fair for the two of you. That's really a huge part to Libra, is how fair things are. It's not to say that Libras are pushovers or anything of that nature. When I was talking earlier, they're concerned with other people, which is beautiful. They want a fair, equitable world, right? They are justice oriented. And just with the sun conjoining Mercury, yes, the sun does kind of burn out. Mercury comes a little cazimi in the heart of the sun, but it can be very clarifying, kind of put a spotlight around our connections and where it is that we feel like we've been giving more than we've been receiving, or where it is that we feel like things haven't been fair, which is why I'm saying strong negotiating vibe this week for some reason. Libra tends to be very good at that. What's fair for you? What's fair for me? How can we meet in the middle, right? On Friday, the 23rd, we have two planets entering Virgo. We have Mercury re-entering Virgo, because remember, Mercury is retrograde right now. So it's reviewing, reassessing, recalibrating energy. At least Mercury's happy, right? Because Mercury's very happy in Virgo. Mercury is exalted in Virgo and also rules Virgo. So at least we're getting some sense, right? Which, thank goodness, because as we get into the weekend, it's like, you know, the dreaminess, the romanticism, the lucrativeness of the offer that's on the table could sort of carry us away, where we just throw caution to the wind. But luckily, Mercury is getting back into Virgo and is like, wait a minute, let's really think this through. Should we go on this date? Should we say yes to going out with our coworker? Should we go on this date? Should we move in together right when we just met? Things of that nature. It's like kind of just, it allows us a little bit more clarity and a little bit more sharpness. And then the moon also enters Virgo, which draws our awareness to order, our habits, our routines, we can find we're a little bit more nervous, a little bit more attuned to the details. And I do want to highlight, so Friday, first Venus day of a Venus-ruled sun. Venus is all about beauty and luxury and pleasure and enjoying our lives. And we'd be like, oh my gosh, first Venus day, Friday, let's do it. But I just want to highlight, if you're not feeling as social on Friday, that is totally okay. You are in tune with the cosmos, my love, because we are in the waning crescent moon phase as we prepare for the new moon on Sunday. It's technically a time that we feel a little bit more called to draw more energy inward, to be a little bit more introspective. And with the energy in Virgo, we might feel more called to kind of find order, find organization, kind of get our ducks in a row, so to speak. So really honoring those tinges, and also honoring if you ever get an urge to clean or to go through clutter right before new moon, you are in tune with the cosmos, love, because this is a moon phase that's all about shedding and releasing and getting rid of stuff, whether it's emotional baggage or like physical stuff in our home, in order to encourage more Libra energy, which is harmony and beauty and connection and all of the things. Right before new moon, it's basically a time to symbolically or maybe physically clear out what's not serving in order to really be able to call in this new moon start right on Sunday. So also notice on Friday, if you're like, I need to get rid of stuff, right? I need to get rid, summer's over. Let me pack all of my bathing suits and my beach stuff away. Let's get the fall decor out. It really is attuning to the details, releasing what did not serve from the past season, and really gearing up for Q4, or the last part of the year, I suppose. And I'm so sorry if my camera is doing a weird thing with the lighting. I'm not sure what exactly is happening. I just kind of adjusted it, but it still seems to be doing it via my eye, but we'll see. We'll see how it looks in editing. I might be editing, just like absolutely hating myself right now for not fixing it when I was filming. So editing, Haley, share your piece. But anyways, okay, back to recording Haley. So I guess past Haley, although both are past Haley's, since you are watching this in the future. But this Haley is more past than that Haley, who's technically me in the future editing, but still past for you, who's in the future. Okay, let me reel it in. My Mercury in Aquarius is showing. Okay, so let's talk about Saturday the 24th. So Saturday the 24th, Venus opposes Neptune. Now we could be feeling this on Friday, certainly. And with Neptune, it is too good to be true energy. It is dissolving and merging, throwing caution to the wind energy. And that's not what I recommend, okay? And we have some support, like Mercury in Virgo is kind of like, wait a second, something feels too good to be true, or like something makes me feel like we should slow down. It's not to say that it's all bad, but maybe let's look into the clauses on the contract. Maybe let's really think about it before we let this seemingly stranger move in with us. Let's just take a second to be a little analytical and to be a little discerning about this, right? Virgo is sort of like screeching the brakes, just like, hold on one second, hold on one second. But Neptune is like, what do you mean? What's the worst that can happen? Let's just fall into the daydream. It's Libra season. Let's connect. Let's let ourselves just totally fall into it, right? And with Venus opposite Neptune, just being mindful when it comes to anything that you buy. Venus is money. If something, repeat after me, if something sounds too good to be true, it most likely is, okay? If someone says that this couch is somehow also going to alleviate your acne, ask some questions. Use the Virgo energy, do your due diligence, and ask some questions, right? There is a vibe this weekend where we're wanting to escape into the daydream. We want to believe that this couch will cure acne. We want to believe that this person that we're dating is actually the heir to the Kleenex fortune. I don't know. We want to believe it, right? We want to believe it. But there's little things that in that desire to want to believe that, we're not paying attention to, right? Like, is there any science that this couch really fixes, people's acne? Why is this person we're dating an heir when we had to buy their Subway sandwich the other day? Like, just remember, in your desire to escape into the loveliness of Libra season, it's also beautiful. Now it's fall and we're drinking nice little coffees and we're just loving this connection. Everything's so romantic. Remember caution, slow things down, right? Remember to ask some questions, have some due diligence. You might be excited about this couch or about this connection or about this business deal, but don't forget to ask questions. Cautious optimism. It's not saying that the business deal can't happen. It's not saying that the science isn't there. Maybe I'm not aware. There is a couch out there that alleviates acne. Who knows? It's not saying that it's not a new beginning. Okay? There are parts of this Libra New Moon that I like, but I want you to be cautious about it. If it seems and feels too good to be true, it most likely is. And on Saturday, so the moon's in Virgo, which again is attuned to our daily routine, onto improvement and refining and all of the things. And the Virgo moon squares Mars and Gemini. So again, running around, doing all of the things. Both of these planets are answering to retrograde Mercury, so we could be skipping steps or missing important details or glossing over important details, just trying to get everything done. And being mindful, if you are putting too much emphasis around having something done rather than having something done well. Like, you might be so eager to check this off your to-do list or finish this project or be able to say, okay, I cleaned out my closet, that you're sort of glossing over or like rushing the process, skipping steps where it's like, oh, where is that really important box of mementos? Oh, we threw it out because I was in a rush to get it done. Oh, I might have finished that work project on time, but I missed the whole latter part of the presentation. Like, remember, slow and steady. The square to Mars on Saturn will make you feel like you need to rush, you need to do it all. You could be frustrated in your desire to do it all. And with the Virgo opposing Neptune, you're sort of in a haze, not seeing clearly. Again, slow and steady. Get another pair of eyes on things. When we have Mercury ruled signs, they're a little wonky right now. Their ruler is retrograde. So use caution, go a little slower than you would imagine. That evening though, I will say, so slow and steady when it comes to your tasks that you're taking on, whether you're cleaning out a garage or handling some work stuff or working out or whatever you are using this Virgo desire to improve and refine energy for. That evening feels really lovely, honestly. The Virgo moon opposes Neptune, which again, Neptune in small doses is fine. I just don't want you to get carried away with it, okay? Because here's the thing about Neptune. It's like, it is romantic. It is ethereal. Like, if you've had Neptune synastry within a relationship, when I tell you it is the most dreamy, fairy tale, sweep you off your feet stuff. And we can feel that when we have Neptune aspects, whether it's like, you know, being at a concert, which just feels like a magical fairy tale, or being on a date where it's just like feels so magical and it's like every little thing is working out for you two and it just feels like a dream world. Like Neptune takes us into the dream. It's that feeling when you're listening to an album and like you and that record become one, or you're watching a movie and you're just so absorbed in it. Neptune is about merging and dissolving, which can be magical. Like I think that's why so many of us like art, is because we just merge completely into it, right? And that's why I'm saying being a little cautious, because like with that merging energy, right, it can also be like, you know, merging until the person you're on date's problems are your problems now, right? Or being in this dreamland that you forget and throw caution to the wind. So Neptune has a beautiful side, it has an ugly side. I just want you to be conscious of both. But I will say Saturday night is my pick for a date night. Yeah. The moon is in Virgo, Venus is in its fall in Virgo, whatever. It has some nice Neptune aspects. So long as you're not being critical, there can be a vibe around just really finding the loveliness and the beauty within that friend outing, that date, whatever it is. It would be a great time to go to a show, honestly. So long as the Virgo energy doesn't get the ick about people sweating and being near. Or watch a movie, any sort of art would be amazing on Saturday. So on Sunday, we have some nice moon aspects, but most happen, at least on the West Coast when we're asleep. The one I already mentioned, we're gonna feel it Saturday night as well, because it happens around midnight PDT, which is the Virgo moon meeting up with Venus in Virgo, which like I said, yes, can be critical and persnickety and all of the things, but at least it's a little bit more pleasurable and in the mood to find pleasure. And then overnight, the Virgo moon trines Pluto and conjoins Mercury. So this is like getting to your senses, like, okay, wait, hold on. This might be the start of a beautiful relationship, but maybe let me ask more questions about you really being the heir to this Kleenex fortune, or wait, like this might be a really great lucrative business idea, but let me just pause and do due diligence to see if it's possible. Wait, I know this salesperson is pressuring me that I need to buy this couch that gets rid of acne right now, but let me ask some questions. Like with the Virgo moon and Mercury, it is this energy around asking us for clarity, and it's kind of interesting. It happens after the Venus opposite Neptune, because like we escaped in the dream, and the next moment it's like that clarity after, where it's like, wait, hold on, what did I just do? What did I just do? Why did I buy a $5,000 couch? That's low-key a piece of junk. I don't want you to have that. That's why I'm prepping you. That's why I'm passionate about Magic Monday, because I'm like, be cautious of these energies so you don't wake up Sunday morning like, what did I do? I got married last night to someone who was only pretending to be the heir to Kleenex. What the heck? I don't want you to have a moment like that, which is why I'm saying get lost in the daydream, but nothing where that daydream bleeds over into real life, okay? Because Sunday feels like kind of a rude wake-up call around, ooh, what did I just do? So go on a date, escape, fall deeply, watch movies, be in your own daydream, but don't let any of that bleed over into real life. And then the moon enters Libra at 9:43 a.m. on Sunday morning, and the new moon in Libra exacts at 2:55 p.m. Now, this new moon is really great for all sorts of partnerships. Yes, romantic. So if you are someone who is single, this can be a great time to invite in romantic energy into your world. If you're in a connection, inviting in more balance, more harmony within your connections, maybe even reviewing, because this lunation is conjoining Mercury, who is retrograde, reviewing certain rules or certain sort of habits within your connection to see how can we sort of readjust these in order to make this relationship more fair, more balanced, more pleasurable for both of us, right? I didn't mean to scare you on this new moon. There is parts about it I really like. There's an optimism about it that I like, where like you two as a couple being able to look at the future and be like, wouldn't it be amazing if we did this and this and this? And it's not saying like, you know, sell your entire life savings to go be, you know, van YouTubers. You can dream about it, just be cautious about it, right? Like use this new moon for cautious optimism when it comes to relationships, when it comes to partnerships. And I will say it's kind of making a trine to Pluto and Capricorn. So it is great to seek advice, to seek counsel from other people. If you are dating someone new, like allow other people, because again, we kind of have rose-colored glasses when it comes to love and money right now, right? Because Neptune and Venus are involved in this lunation. But other people don't, right? So when in doubt, either lawyer it out or friend it out or mentor it out. Ask for people. Like, that's the beautiful thing about Libra energy, is that it reminds us that we are here to connect, that you are not alone. Reach out for support and for advice and for guidance. Like, this new moon is a really beautiful time to invite in newness within our world, but also being cautious about it. Expecting beauty, expecting romance, expecting abundance, but also preparing just in case some of these offers that are on the table fall through, or some of the things people are promising you don't have any substance to it. So definitely launch out these ideas and these themes within your world, but remember to use logic and groundedness. Can you see that? Can you guys comment if you can see that when it gets like lighter and then dimmer? I think it might happen when it's kind of foggy outside is what I've noticed, but I really need to fix this on my lighting. Editing, Haley. I hope you're not cringing the entire time while watching this. But that evening we also have Venus trining Pluto. Again, it was involved in the new moon, which is the energy around transformation, releasing the old and preparing for the new, inviting in loveliness into our world. So loves, that is our week. Our Magic Monday mantra of the week is, I expect the best, but I prepare for the worst. And I'm not saying you should be pessimistic or Debbie Downer, and I'm not killing your new romance or your new business deal or all of the things, but it's just important to remember a lot of the planets right now are either retrograde or about to station retrograde in their pre-retrograde shadow, right? And when that happens, it's a time of really using caution, because when something's retrograde, essentially that point in the sky is going to be revisited. So it's like, that's why astrologers say, you know, just be cautious, handle past affairs. It's great for handling things from the past, because it is this energy around needing to go back in order to go forward. So when it comes to brand new initiatives, brand new partnerships, brand new things, it's not saying that they can't happen, but there can be some that needs to be renegotiated or revisited about it. And with this lunation, it is an energy around really allowing ourselves to have this daydream. Wouldn't it be beautiful if I had a partner like this, or a business deal like this, or a lifestyle like this? And it's possible, absolutely. But when you have Jupiter and Neptune involved, too much of a good thing can be possible. And if something seems too good to be true, it most likely is. So remember to use logic, remember to stay grounded through it all. And I'm sending you so much love. Make sure to watch the Libra New Moon All Signs Deep Dive. I've linked it below so that you can see where you're having this harmonious new start within your world. It can give more texture and nuance. Loves, my Instagram handle is at Haley Comet Astrology. My TikTok is the same. I'd love to connect with you over there. And until we meet again, drink lots of water and stay magical.